A few weeks ago, I had a great conversation with a friend of mine. Her name is Robin Hanna. She leads communications at Dynamic Signal, which is a workplace communication software platform. We talked about everything from our sanity to lack of Clorox wipes to working remote and then this new normal in business. I recorded our conversation, uploaded it to YouTube, and then shared it on Twitter just a couple days later. And then just last week, we both got tagged in a tweet by a company called WalkMe. In fact, I think they just replied to the tweet from what I shared 3 weeks ago. And here's what they said. Hey, Appertopian, we found your conversation with Robin super insightful, particularly the part about employee engagement. We shared a couple of our best practices for engagement and to boost our team productivity. Let us know what you think. Now, this was Cinco de Mayo, or May 5th, for those of you who struggle with Spanish, but I actually thought it was a pretty interesting engagement. I was a little curious why it took them, I think, 3 weeks or so to chime in. So I clicked through to the blog post because I thought maybe, okay, they responded or they wrote this blog post based on the conversation that Robin and I had. But that wasn't the case. It was actually written back in June 2019 by I'm not so sure who. Now, I've actually heard of WalkMe. In fact, I've seen several billboards up and down 101, but I always thought it was a company in the unified communication space or call center space. But then after a little research, I realized that I was thinking about this company called TalkDesk. Now, you can understand my initial confusion. TalkDesk, WalkMe, they kind of look similar, sound similar, 2 syllables. And even their homepage, it says there's some similar messaging around business continuity. But then I thought about what WalkMe did and their engagement with both Robin and I on social media. And even though it was 3 weeks after the fact, I would call that organic influencer engagement. Now, I'm not an influencer. I don't claim to be an influencer. And I get kind of irritated when I see people say that they're influencers. It's a different episode. But I do applaud their approach, because now I know that they sell HCM, CRM, and ERP software. I didn't know that before, and now I do. And now that you know that you're on my radar, I unfortunately am not your buyer. I don't influence my clients to purchase or invest in HCM or ERP software. But I do know a lot about your buyers. In fact, I've done several analytics and research around people who invest in HR-specific software or sales software. So if you ever need an agency to help navigate this space and understand influencers and audiences, give us a call. So going back to influencer engagement, what is it and how do you do it effectively? Well, let me tell you. Organic influencer engagement combines data and analytics with content and storytelling that positions your brand at the center of very relevant conversations with people that matter. And it's free. Well, kind of. If you have an agency or you're investing in paid media, which you should, well, that costs money. So it's free in that you're not paying any influencer to create content or partner with you on collaborative programs. Before I go into more detail about what it is and how to do it effectively, let me tell you what organic engagement is not, okay? It is not going to Twitter 3 or 4 times a week, commenting, liking, and retweeting journalists, right? My 8-year-old niece, Penelope, can do that. But there are 5 things that you need to think about if you truly want to make an impact and engage with influencers the right way. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going into detail of the 1990 model of influence. I did a 6.5-minute video about 8 weeks ago, and I'm going to link to it in the upper right-hand corner. When you think about a real-time listening panel, imagine a custom search engine. You type in a query, and the results yield what your influencers are talking about. Exactly what they're talking about. And I joked earlier about the basics. That's still important. Do what my 8-year-old niece can do. Like, comment, share, and retweet influencer content. And here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. It requires a little bit more thinking, strategic planning, and resources. Be ready to create digital assets the minute you spot an opportunity. Animated GIFs, videos, animated graphics. Think of yourself as a newsroom, so that when you see an influencer share something or talk about something that's relevant to your business, you can react quickly and be a part of that conversation. Please, please, please do not be stingy with promoting content. I honestly don't care if you work in PR and don't do paid media. This is 100% necessary. It's non-negotiable, but it doesn't require thousands and thousands of dollars. You can be really smart, strategic, and targeted and promote that content that you're targeting towards influencers to a broader customer base, which can include other influencers, your customers, your partners, and other audiences. Organic influencer engagement isn't something you do part-time. It's not something you plan for just for an event or a product launch and then forget about it. It has to be constant. there has to be a drumbeat of consistent storytelling targeted towards influencers, so that you can empower them and bring them into your stories in a relevant way. And the reality is that influencers will not share branded content unless, of course, you pay them to, which is a different story and it's a different episode. But when you're engaging with influencers and you're introducing them to your brand, you have to speak their language. You have to provide content and value to the conversation through creative content like charts and workflows and animated GIFs and social graphics and other types of content that will entice other influencers to share it and find value in that. Now, I'm not saying abandon your branded content. There's always going to be a need to drive leads and engagement through branded assets, but you're always going to find that the performance on that content is not as high as it is when you produce more unbranded engagement content with influencers. So even though I simplify it, it does require some planning. And if you ever need any advice or want to talk one-on-one, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to share with you what I know. So thank you again for tuning into the video. Please share the video if you find value in it. Please subscribe to my channel. And I just want to thank you for your support. So today is May 10th and we're still in lockdown. So please stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you next week. Take care.